Assalamu alaikum, guys. My name is Bilal Diaby. I live here on 143rd. I grew up in this masajid here. I've been coming here for over, I think, 10 years now. I recently graduated about 2 years ago from upstate New York, University of Rochester, and I just came back home not too long ago. But Alhamdulillah, I've been talking to Imam Yara, and I had a few ideas, me and a couple of friends as well, at the masjid on Park Avenue. So the idea is four buckets: religion, political, economic, and social. So like religion aspect of things, we want to build like programs and stuff. So the programs is basically going to be our ideas. We're just going to have somebody who's an instructor. So sit down with them, tell them, hey, this is the program we want to have in the community. We want to have a marriage program. We want to have a weekly halaqah where we talk about different series, the day of judgment, the life in the Bazraq, the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, different Islamic topics and stuff that we need to learn. And like we need to start programs and stuff amongst ourselves and stuff and educate ourselves. And the second part is political. And as you guys can see, the war in Palestine is going on right now. We can't really do much. The elections came, a lot of people didn't vote. Some people voted, but we didn't really make a significant impact. And a lot of us forget that Muslims actually like we're very political because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he moved to Medina, after the Hijrah, he was actually, so you see how the US have a state government and a federal government. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, among the Yahud and like the people who worship idols and stuff and Muslims, they had three different powers basically. So the Jewish people, they set the rules among themselves, the Muslims among themselves, and the people who worship idols among themselves. And if there's a conflict between the three, the Prophet ﷺ will be the person ahead of everything. So basically, a state and a federal government. But at the time, like people didn't think, hey, it's a state government or federal government. But you can go as far as saying, like, hey, this idea of state and federal government came from Muslim lands and stuff. So Muslims, we are very political, and like we should be political. We should start like events and stuff again, but again, bi-weekly events or weekly events where we talk about the current political issue that's going on, and just educating ourselves, registering to vote, and just being there, being politically active in the community, making sure the non-Muslims in the community know, hey, there are a group of Muslims here, a minority group of students who they're putting their hands together and they want to make an impact. And the third one is an economic impact, and the economic impact is essentially, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the idea of waqf, where you start a business and it's not particularly for anyone, it's just for the Muslim ummah basically, where years and years later is just coming back to the community. So, the Jewish community, for example, they have so many different business ideas, and like the dollar in the Jewish community literally stays there for, I don't even know how many long, but it stays there for a really long time. And the idea is, it's not by accident all of that happened. They literally sat down together, put their hands together, came with an agenda, and they're like, okay, hey, we all gonna do this. And the last idea is the social aspect of things. And as you guys know, like there's a huge gap between the elders and the youth. Like a lot of the elders, they don't really understand why we do certain things or why we don't do certain things. They just, and it's not their fault because they were not born or raised here and stuff. They just don't understand it. The same way we don't understand sometimes how they think. They may think something is wrong, or like there's a there's like a gap between our understanding of Islam and their understanding of Islam as well. And we're wrong at times, and at times they are also wrong. But there's a clear, concise gap, and like we need to close that gap. So the idea is to start an e-board for each Muslim mosque, start an e-board where we have a social media chair, for example, where we each week we send out weekly newsletters where we have a donation link to it. There's the iqama updates, the imam for Friday khatiba, and like any event that's happening in the community, we put it inside the newsletter and we send it out and stuff. And like the social media chair, for example, they will create flyers if there's events and all that stuff. And then a second position is a community service chair, and essentially, the community service chair is they literally just organize groups and stuff to make sure the masajid is clean, make sure like carpets are clean, the kitchen area is clean, the bathroom is clean. Nobody's saying like one person do it all, but if we organize and like post like links, hey, we're doing cleaning at the masjid this day. Can we have volunteers? People will volunteer. Everybody want to do a good deed. People will volunteer, but they just don't have the opportunity to do so. So a community service share, I mean, a lot more goes into these positions than just what I'm saying right now. But this is just like a quick overview of like what to expect. And like for example, fundraising chair, they would have like Islamic contests, Quran competition, sports tournaments, and all that stuff to like raise money and like go to different conferences to like reach out to like the Muslim community and like the general community as a whole to make sure we're raising money for the masajid as well. And then another position is a programming chair. This is actually very, very vital. This is like the reason why there's like a huge gap between the elders and the youth. So we need to spearhead these programs and stuff. Be like, hey, okay, we want a marriage program, or we want under 35 program or weekly halakas, or we have for example, sisters how to wear, what does it mean to wear hijab in the West? Like provide links, provide discounts for like, hey, just educate each other on like these different topics. So programming chair just come up with like different program ideas that we can throw every week or bi-weekly. And yeah, and then we also have secretary and a community liaison political activist chair where they organize political events for us and like educate us on current political news and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I did a poor job explaining these roles, but I have a paper here. I'm not sure I have enough copies for everyone, but I'll pass out these papers if you're interested. Just scan the QR code at the bottom and just refresh the link once they're open positions. And we're also working with other people, different masajid, to actually implement this e-board system in every single masjid. It doesn't have to be the same, but it's just like a foundation. Every masjid, like among the youth, we have a social media chair, somebody who takes care of the Instagram, the WhatsApp, the TikTok, all that stuff, live links to the khutbah. Like every Jummah, we have a live stream to Instagram and stuff, stuff like that. There's so much more that goes into it, but inshallah, this is just like a quick overview, and like this is still the foundation phases. So if you guys are interested, reach out. QR code. I'll also give you guys my number if anybody's interested. But yeah, this is the beginning phases, and we do need help. Any help would do, honestly. Jazakallah khair.
Thanks so much. Seth?
Thank you so much, Javi. Alhamdulillah, we thank everyone. I know the times is the essence. So what are we going to do, because it's time to prayer? So what we're going to do, we just right after prayer, we're just going to take maybe about 20, 25 minutes just to pick your brain, because I know he shared a great ideas. Some of his ideas, that was part of my ideas as well. Trying to organize ourselves and how can we do to help this community, especially those who went to college. You have a lot of experience in college. So bring it home, help each other. And I know the parents and the kids, they have a different opinions when it comes to life itself. There's a huge gap. That was what I said in our last meeting. Those who went to college and their young one, probably 5, 6, even 10 years old. So those are the one who follow those who went to college. But when it comes to parents, they don't listen because they don't understand each other. Parents just go out for walk. They trying to get money, and the kids are doing their own thing. Maybe they're having peer pressures. They're dealing with the gangs members. Who knows? So this is our way to link, to connect the parents and the kids. So your ideas would make us better. Don't underestimate yourself. He grew up here. He used to study here. But look at how brilliant his idea was. You all have to bring some of ideas so that way we could make this community even bigger. So right after Maghrib, we're just going to pick your brain a little bit. If you have like few ideas, we're going to pretty much pass the mic. So just share your ideas a little bit, and then we'll have a refreshment, a pizza. Then you're going to eat the pizza, inshallah, and then we call it a day. Okay? So please do not go. Stay. We're going to pray, and then we want your ideas. Okay? So all this was introduction just to tells you exactly what we want from you. So please, you could have a brainstorm from now on. If you have a thought, good. If you don't, start thinking now. Okay. So we're gonna need your ideas. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah.